right. Welcome, Olfa, to Too Long Don't Listen's recording in real life. How are you?
Hi, Cinda. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well, especially because we're finally doing this in person.
Yeah.
You've been on the podcast on episode 33, and you've already shared lots of insights. To remind our listeners, the episode was called Defining Your Life Mission. And I think it got a lot of interest because people were interested in turning their dreams into a reality. So that's your branding now. That's who you
Yeah.
are. Um, as you know, today we will be discussing more topics around students' kind of ambitions to move from one country to another, how the process looks like. And I'm very happy to have you as an expert in the field. We're going to talk about Edusmart, your company, and much, much more.
Okay.
Before we start,
Oh
as
my
I
God.
mentioned, I have these ice-breaking cards. So these are very, easy to answer questions. And I'm going to
Okay.
let you pick one.
Oh my God. I'm not very lucky with card games, by the way, but
Okay.
let's just go ahead.
It's two-sided, so you pick one side.
One side, if you could live in another country, where would you live? What did you believe as a child that you now know not to be true? Oh my
You
God.
can pick one.
Well, if I'm going to talk about living in another country, I actually just moved to London. You know that maybe around a couple of years ago. So I already have the answer for this one. So it's the UK, London. And what did I believe as a child that I know now is not to be true? I would say there is something that is impossible. I think that nothing is impossible.
Okay.
Growing older, we were always told that some things are not meant to be or some things are impossible, but I know nothing is impossible.
I
So
think that really sets the tone for this conversation. So thank you for doing this. You're the first one, by the way.
yes. Oh my God, I'm lucky.
Yes. I'll keep it on the side
Yes.
to keep it out of the rest. But
Yes.
let's start with, Edusmart. Tell us everything. What's the company about? Why did you start? And I think this will be important to define how we can help students with their decisions, right?
Yes. So we've talked a little bit about this last time, and I'm just going to briefly go through it again. So Edusmart is an education consultancy. We help students with the choice of their universities, and not just that. We help them with the degree, what major they want to do. We help them with the visa procedures, and we help them settling down in a new country. So our services mostly turn around that. Some of them also have some language barriers. We help them with that. So Edusmart is all about being there for the student from the moment they decide they want to study in a different country until they actually reach that dream destination.
I like that. Let's break it down a little bit because I'm assuming that obviously lots of people listening to this are either students who are currently considering moving to another country and they don't really know where to start, or they have started but they are a bit skeptical because it looks like it's too complex for them. So, can you tell us from your experience what are those challenges and what's keeping them from kind of taking that step?
Yes, first, Tinda, you said something that is very important. You said that a lot of young people are asking themselves the question whether or not they want to live the abroad life or traveling to another country experience. From my position and from my experience, I really believe that it's primordial for these young people to actually take that step. And even for a couple of years, even for 5 or 3 years or whatever, it's very important to do that because it just changes the way you see things. It changes the way you live your life, and it actually sets the tone for your entire life. And you're someone who's, after you travel, I guess, and after you live in a different country, you're much more tolerant. You are a different person. So I think that it's important not to question that decision in itself. So it's actually very challenging for people from the MENA region, and more specifically, because of visa regulations, financial issues, also money, exchange rates, and all that kind of all those, let's say, issues. So that's why it is very challenging, and we are here to help.
I mean, you're definitely pointing out one of the biggest barrier, I guess. It's the financial constraints, right? And myself, back in the day, I actually came to you for help
Yes.
with the entire process. So I remember being so scared, not really understanding what was required from me. I thought my grades were enough, and actually now there's this entire world of, paperwork and the visa as well. So let's talk about these things because I
Yes.
feel like we don't talk about them enough. What would you say are, if we can maybe limit to three, the three key things you need to know before starting the entire process? Like, where will you find the information? How are you helping as well? Maybe that kind of goes hand in hand. So yeah, let's hear from the experts.
Yes. So first, Cinda, remind me later on to show that letter you wrote me when you were graduating from high school. We're definitely sharing
Sure,
that.
that's a huge spoiler,
I
but
think
okay.
that the other day, one of my team members, Khulud, she was going through old things and she actually found it, and she said it's such a heartwarming letter, and it actually really was very touching. But yeah, so it is important first to go to the experts. It's really important, and the number one reason it's actually at a almost no extra cost on the student. So if you just like go to an agency, of course, we would recommend you to go to Edusmart.
Obviously.
But no, but seriously, if you go to an agency that would, first of all, be able to follow up on the latest changes and trends in regulations and academic regulations, because universities change their language requirements every year or every couple of years, let's say. Some universities are actually changing their eligibility requirements, entry requirements. So all these details, you will only find them when you go to an experienced agency that has been there for a long time, and that is following up with their partners on the latest changes and the latest trends. So this is the number one reason why you should go to an expert that is going to help you. The other important thing for us is actually to help the students with the choice. We are actually partnering with a number of coaches, and I don't want to call them life coaches because now it has become such a cliche word. But yes, we have like a number of coaches who are experts in terms of, let's say, teenagehood and dealing with teenagers and with young adults, let's say. And these coaches are actually going to go through, let's say, the choices of the student and dive into the student's desires and what is he or she passionate about, and what they want to do in the future. Because this very important turning point in one's life is actually we should really deal with it in a very serious way. You can't just decide because it's cheaper to do that, or because it's closer to home, or for whatever other trivial reason. You have to do it because you want to do it, because you see yourself growing in that field, because you know that you're going to learn a lot of skills from that academic experience that is going to allow you later to do something that you're passionate about. Otherwise, you're going to end up hating your life at age 40 and not being able to kind of leave, because you're going to be stuck with that degree that you think is at this point useless. So that's why we really lately, in the last couple of years, we started dealing with these coaches. Not all of the students want that. It's an extra, let's say, service. But some of the students, they just come and know. And it's actually very nice. I love it. Sometimes you talk to a student and they're like, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. And you know that they know. So you don't need to kind of like doubt it or ask them questions.
You need a coach to confirm that.
No, we don't do that. But a lot of the times you're talking to students who don't know, who are really actually lost, and their parents maybe are doctors, or I don't know, like some kind of administrative officials, and they're lost. They don't know what to do. So it's very important to actually just spend a couple of hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, talking to someone about it and actually understanding what you want to do.
And so I'm actually very curious about the ones who are lost.
Mm-hmm.
When they come to you, do they come to you in the first place because they think going abroad will help them figure things out, or do they come to you because they know they want to leave and then maybe something will happen and it will change their mind? And also, how do you help them? Because I think you made a really, really good point. Like, before getting into the process, you should kind of have an idea of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these are 3 questions for you.
First, the first thing is actually I feel a little bit sorry about 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds kids. Sometimes even some parents push their kids at age 16 to decide on
Yeah.
a really major
Life decision.
life decision. So it's a lot on these young kids. And with all that is going on right now with the social media and Andrew Tate on every
Yeah, all the
on every platform telling people that you can become rich tomorrow and
and
you
others. He's not the only one.
I
Right?
know a lot of other people,
Yeah.
other like podcasters following him. But anyways, it's actually very, very challenging for these kids to actually decide. They want to do something that brings them a lot of money overnight, and that's not going to happen. No one's is going to be able to make money overnight. So that's so they come to us. Yes, they are lost. They don't know, and the real dilemma is actually they want to travel, but they don't know what to do. And our job is actually to not only guide them on what to do, what kind of specialties are better for them, also depending on their financial capacities, their parents' financial capacities, their academic capacities, because not all of students are an A student. Some of them are B students, some are D students, which is not a problem. There is always a I think that there is a we need to view academic success in a totally different way. A lot of the students who are D students, simple D students, are very self-disciplined. Sometimes they are very good at a lot of other life skills, but maybe not academically successful. So we welcome all of these students. We kind of listen to all of them and we show them the way to actually choose well and be happy with their choice until the end, let's say.
Yeah. What would you recommend these students to do, or what would you say they should consider before coming to you? Is it spending more time researching their options, or talking to people? Yeah. What would you advise them?
Of course, yes. Like discussing your choices with a close person, not even with a close person. It's always, I believe, it's always very important to actually assess whatever you have in mind with reference to someone else's ideas or someone else's thoughts, because that is going to allow you to actually kind of benchmark it in a way and understand whether it's you're going the right way or not, whether it fits you or it doesn't fit you. And this is very important. So yeah, talking to a friend or a family member or someone who has done this before is very important. But I really don't want to be pushing towards going to an agency and coming to Edusmart. But it's really, when you are applying for universities, you shouldn't keep your chances low. So we're talking about a lot of work.
Yeah.
We're talking about you could be applying to many universities and you can be applying into many countries. And I don't really think that one student is going to be able to handle understanding the requirements of different universities and different backgrounds, and also understanding the visa requirements for different countries and the financial requirements for these countries as well. So it's really very important to actually get help and go to the experts and just leave everything with them. What we take from the student is actually their passion, what they want.
Yeah.
We talk to them about what makes them, let's say, what moves them, what makes them very, very excited about working and waking up in the morning. And then we take all that feedback and we turn it into their academic projects, and we help them realize their dreams.
I mean, by the way, just replying to what you said about the letter that I think that's a beautiful illustration of what happened and the kind of achievement you can get out of getting, your dream university or getting into a city that you've dreamed of living in. So I want to thank you again, Olfa, because you really helped me. And actually, this is like live feedback session, but I remember kind of putting the processes or trusting you with all the paperwork made the focusing on getting my IELTS done and writing
Your
my
baccalaureate as well.
yes, and also writing my motivational letter, like all these things were just, I was fully focused. So I think that's why I would obviously recommend people to look into what you guys offer and get the expert's view, because I just think that will make your life as a student easier.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
And also there is an important point that we did not mention, Cinda, which is the visa requirements.
Right.
It is a huge issue for a lot of students, and it's a huge issue for a lot of families altogether, not just the student. And it's very important, again, to go to the experts and talk to the experts about it,
Yeah.
because it's not that you tick all the boxes or you've got a checklist of documents, and once you've got that, it's just very simple. It's really like some kind of a labyrinth. You think yourself, you think you've got there, you think you have actually reached.
But you haven't.
But you have,
And I'll tell you a story afterwards. I was waiting.
but you actually haven't, and you actually need more effort and more
Yeah.
time. Yes, tell me your story.
So I'm happy you brought it up. I wasn't sure if we should go there because I know it's a very scary territory. But actually, when I applied to the UK, my first visa got rejected
Oh,
because I missed one sentence in, I think it was like a bank statement or something to say that I would get financial support for a certain period of time. And I didn't put that sentence there. And so the whole file got rejected, and I wasn't even sure if I would go to the UK or not. And this was back in, I remember, this was July 2016.
yes.
And so in the middle of summer, you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because it took a month to get the answer back. And there were so many documents required. You think it's just your, back results and that's it. No, it's
And the IELTS. And then you
And the
came,
IELTS, of
and then you came to Edusmart,
And
and
then,
then,
so I should
then
have
you're-
reached out to an agency sooner.
and then your life changed. Yes, it's actually these
Then I had it,
details.
right.
Yes, and then you had it. Yeah, it was a very simple thing. I remember that you were so scared and so worried,
So stressed.
and so stressed out. But I knew that it was a very simple issue, and we helped you with that issue. But the thing is that sometimes students and even parents, they don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the parents, they don't speak English. And sometimes they don't speak French properly. Sometimes, because if you're sending your child to France, maybe you really need to have to speak French fluently. And some of the parents, they don't. So if you're sending your child to, I don't know, to Germany or to the UK or to the USA, you need to speak the language. And some of the parents and the kids, they don't speak it properly. So if you miss a small detail, that would risk getting your visa rejected, and then you could be left with nothing. And that's why we tell the students not to put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So that's why we tell them we will apply for as many options as you want, and we will just broaden yes your choices, so that just in case, God forbid, something wrong happens, we have always got a second chance. And I'm not saying that the agency does it 100%, or that everybody, because it's a visa process, there is always some things that even us as an agency, we are not able to foresee.
Right.
We can read a lot, we can know, we can be up to date with the latest governmental changes, but some changes we could miss them, and because it's very recent, because you have already applied, but then it just the change took place. So being with an agency actually optimize your chances from let's say being maybe 70% to 99.99%, in order not to say 100%.
I think, no, that's fair. And with what I shared with you, it shows that if I had the agency sooner, I would have avoided all the stress. That also it's a lot of money lost and time wasted, and it's anyway. All of this to say, make sure not only you read, but you get that expert advice if you can. But yeah, thank you, Olfa.
You're welcome.